want me to go and get them cutters now?
Yeah, might as well. Okay, go.
Right.
Not so low down, it's got to be 6 inches.
there, I'm back on my sofa. It's been a little while since I did a podcast. That's mainly because I've been quite busy with other life events, such as I went to Aberdeen to the hospital for my annual scan. And so therefore that takes out a full day, and also, you know, a day or two afterwards, you're sort of recovering from the whole experience, particularly when you have to get up very early and you get home quite late. So yeah, it's quite an experience. As I had a lot of time between my finishing my appointment and getting back for the airport, I got a taxi at my own expense into Aberdeen Central, and had a bit of lunch and visited Hobbycraft. We don't have one of those on the island, and yes, I suppose you could order it online, but like with everything, you like to see what's on offer, don't you? So I had been in there last year and bought some quilting fabrics. This year I wanted to concentrate on some yarns. Talking about last year's quilting shopping, I did a few videos when I actually first started doing these videos back in October 2022. And I might do a little compilation of them for you in the next week or so, just to see what I got up to. Funnily enough, the quilting fabric that I bought from Hobbycraft the last time I was in Aberdeen, and I only go to Aberdeen once a year, is I still haven't done anything with it. It's still sitting there. I did cut one up into shapes. I have got a pattern for quilting that I would like to do, but I just haven't been doing it because I've been doing knitting podcasts. So if it's something you'd be interested in, would you comment below and let me know? And I can introduce some sewing into my podcasts then. As you can see, my podcast playlist is called Knitting, Home, Garden and Lifestyle. So these podcasts could include a lot of things, like a day in the life of an Orkney-based knitter, which is the title of this particular podcast. And as you can see from the beginning of the video, I've touched on a lot of things I've been doing in the past few weeks while I've not been making a video. In my last video, I told you I was going to knit from a variegated ball of Stylecraft batik. And yes, I've done something with it. Not what I was expecting to do, but I decided to try out some of my patterning that I've done so far, the creation of my interactive pattern. And what I was going to do was just knit a top out of that hank of wool and maybe get some more in Highland, which is another variation of the batik colour range. But what happened was, like I said last time, I shouldn't be buying too much wool. I've got plenty. But I got given a couple of balls of wool, which I thought I might integrate into that top. And you know, I said in one of my videos recently that basically you could knit my pattern from the top down into a jumper, a tunic, or a dress. And I thought, you know what? I talk about it, let's do it. So I've knitted a dress. I haven't quite finished it because I'm doing the sleeves. But it's a multicolour and stash busting dress, and I actually love it. So to start from the top, I used the pink yarn that was in my pink cardigan mixed with the pink cotton. I'll show little clips of pictures of what I've been using these from. So that came from that. So that has been used in the neckline and also on the hemline of the dress. And if you go a little further down, it pops up in the waist, just about there. So basically, let's just pull it up. The circular yoke into a sort of a t-shirt top. And then the skirt is sort of stashed. It's from Stash. And it's just a lot of the colours I have left. And at the bottom you can see that I have, well, if I turn it around the right way, I have a curved hem, which I wanted to do. It's short row hem basically, and I've just made a little curve at the bottom, and that is because I've not actually done any short rows at the top, so that should work itself out well. So if I pull that bit of the hem down so that it's both straight, at the top I get a little bit down, coming down at the front for my neck. That's the kind of idea anyway. So at the moment I am now going down the sleeve, doing the same thing, using probably up to about I'm up to here now with this colour scheme, so I would say to have a 16-inch sleeve, let me just find my tape. To get a 16-inch sleeve, I'm probably going to go down to the bottom of the blue there, so that'll include blue, and then the pink, this pink as the ribbing. But when I do the ribbing, I actually double it, so I've got a thicker ribbed collar. Instead of turning it over and making it thick, I've just cast it off, and I've done that at the bottom as well, a nice loose cast off. So I'm really looking forward to finishing this one. I like it. I really do like it. I think I'm going to get quite a bit of wear out of this. The other thing about this was, when I got to a certain stage, I think it was here, which is about my hip line. Up to now, I've been knitting on a 4mm needle. When I got to about 4 rows into this one, I thought, it's got to go over my hips without too much a stretch. So I changed it to a 4.5mm circular needle, and then worked all the way down to the bottom in a 4.5mm needle. So the reasoning behind that is, instead of increasing, which would probably look a bit more ridge-like at this point. When you put it onto a bigger needle, it doesn't show as much, but it actually gives you a bit more width. So if I measure this across where it's more, the stitching is bigger, I get about 23.5 inches across. So that would be 47 around the hip, and that'd just be about right. In the 4mm area, 4mm needle knitting, I've got about 20-21, so that makes it about 42 chest. So yeah, there's method in the madness, if you know what I mean. It just is it's just smoother doing it that way than doing some increases. The increases, as you know, as I've said before, you can quite often see, you'll see where I've made increases there and further down. But if you change the needle size from a 4mm to a 4.5mm, it doesn't show an awful lot. As you can see, you can't really see it, but it suddenly changes the sizing. So that's one way I've used to fit something to myself. It's a matter of playing around, and I like playing around, as you well know, with my knitting. It's, as you can see, I have played. I've played big time this time. So at the moment, I'm just back on my 4mm needle, and I'm just doing, just going around my sleeves. It's never my favourite part, this, the sleeves. But I have found that I use a 40 centimetre circular needle, and that just seems to be perfect. And I can just carry on round quite happily. When I went into hobbycraft, like I said, I went looking just for what they'd got wool-wise. And this, as you know, is a mixture mainly of acrylics, 100% acrylics. There's a lot of colours here you might recognise. That is magenta on the Stylecraft Special DK. This is, I think it's Vintage Rose from King Cole price-wise. This one was the pink from the Stylecraft Recreate DK. This one, as I say, is the Batik, mainly. This blue one here is a Stylecraft Life with a little bit of wool in it. I presume this has got a little bit of wool in it. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what that one is, that beigey colour one. Again, that's price-wise. And again, I don't know what this one is. Oh, I might tell lies on that. I do. Patterns and Knit and Save. It's something I was given the other day. So, yeah, I know what that one is. And that's got, again, that'll be an acrylic. It feels like it. Yeah, it's a Cortel. So, yeah, so I'm just using up some of these yarn balls I've got. But when I went into hobbycraft, I didn't go in with any sense of colour or anything I would like. It just caught my eye. And what's making me laugh is I seem to be knitting on a theme at the moment. I bought this, and this is the Women's Institute Soft and Chunky. It's 100 grams, and it actually has 30% merino in it and 70% acrylic. There was a deal on that if you bought three balls, and you would only pay for 2. I think that worked out about £4.33 a ball. So I bought this, and look. I can't believe it just, doesn't it? It just goes. You know, what's with it? And then I also bought another yarn called I Will Survive, which is quite, for me, appropriate. I Will Survive. And it's an Aran style, although I felt it was a thicker DK to me. 50 grams, and it's 100% recycled wool. How much did this cost? I think this was £4 odd. So I got 2 of them. I thought I'll just get 2. But again, I've knitted it into a longer Sophie scarf. See, look at that beautiful pink. And again, it goes with my top, really. So, yeah, it's a lovely, nice stretch. I'll put you up a picture of me wearing it. Lovely. I quite like this Sophie scarf pattern. I'm late to the Sophie scarf, and I know it's been done to death, but hey, if it's a good pattern, if it's a nice pattern, easy to do, don't knock it, knit it. Don't knock it, knit it. So what have I done? What did I do? I also bought a pattern, and it's a turban with mitts. Now I like the turban, so I have knitted that in brioche. I just revisited the brioche stitch after a very long time and realised how easy it is to do. And sometimes, you know, you hear the word brioche and I'm going, I'd rather do the fisherman's rib, you know, hey. But, you know, I got back into it and look, beautiful. Love it. So now I've got some little closed ring markers, and what you do is you use that to actually do the sewing. I haven't got, that part is more difficult than doing the brioche. It's done. Am I going to do the mittens? A part of me says I've got 2 of these left. Do a little cape around the top or something. I don't know. I'll have a think about that one. I'll have to work out what wool I need. I've also used up some of the Price Wise knit, King Cole Price Wise DK that I've got for a pattern out of here. See if I can find it. Yeah, it's called the Bloomsbury. So it's a collar mainly. And again, it's one of those patterns where I got got to try something. I don't think I've ever tried it before. And that was double knitting. So that one side is stocking stitch and so's the other, and it's all knitted in one piece. It was, again, to me, that was so easy. Sometimes it's your brain, isn't it? Your brain says, ooh, I won't be able to do that. And actually, it's quite easy when you get to do it. So I've got that to finish. It has a little rose, a knitted rose, which I've done. And this is the lace topping, which I will need to wash and block to stretch it out so that I can sew it onto the collar. Yeah, it's a nice book, that. If anyone's looking for some interesting patterns. And there's a second part as well out, which I haven't got. But yeah, I loved it. The one that got me was that front one. I like that. That might have to be on my list of things to do eventually. But yes, so I've done that. I also showed you some pictures of the cardigan that I was knitting. That's finished now. Yeah, so I've got a lot of balls of yarn everywhere. The wool for the November cardigan has arrived, so I can actually start that in the month of November. Hopefully we might get it done by the end of November. So that's going. I did a little mini Sophie scarf, short one, which you saw earlier on in my B-roll, which was made out of the Isle of Oscary yarn. Beautiful North Ronald Sea flock that live on the Isle of Oscary, which is so isolated it cannot be integrated with other sheep. That flock has been there for as long as the people that have lived on there have been shearing their sheep and making it into yarns. Lovely yarn to knit with, lovely colours, and I will put a link to the website on the description. And also there's her sons, Rory and Hamish, have done videos on their life in the Isle of Oscary. So I don't know if I say it right. Oscary. I'm sure they'll tell you. Yeah, so very beautiful. And also on local yarns, because I know you're interested in that, I just received this book this morning in the post. Elizabeth Lovick lives, probably a mile or two away from me. And one of my first books I bought when I was up here would have been the Shetland Lace book that she wrote. So I'm going to show you that again. I'll have a little enjoyable look at that at some stage. I'll put links to her website and her Facebook and her Instagram and all that jazz in the description. So I think that's me for today. There's lots of stuff coming up and lots of stuff I need to finish. Lots I could talk about. Anyway, nice to speak to you again, guys. Look after yourselves, and I'll probably see you again towards the end of the month of November, because I'm pretty busy at the moment with various other things, not just knitting, it's life stuff, you know what I mean? But it's been lovely speaking to you again today. Keep knitting. You've dropped. That's it. Turning a ball, you see. This is turning a ball. It'll time us as to how long it takes us to do a ball as well from the 50 gram hank, because it tells us on the film how long it takes. And then I'll speed it up and it'll just I know.